Hey guys, this is Matt with Ann and Chuck Deaver Regional Park. I'm coming to you today to explain some fun things about animals, and we're going to learn about the fascinating and wonderful world of reptiles today. Right, our first critter we're going to take a look at, you've probably seen him a million times walking around Florida. This is our brown anole. Unfortunately, he is not a native species of Florida. He is what's considered an invasive species. He actually comes from the islands of Bahamas and the surrounding regions around there. However, the native species is the green anole. That critter is a little bit more hard to find now due to the fact that these guys are starting to take over the population, eating their food and also competing with their mates as well. He's pretty cool. This is a male, as you can tell. They get nice and feisty. So if you handle one, be careful. However, these are always fun to teach kids how to behave around certain small animals. The brown anole. The next critter we're going to take a look at is a red tagu. This is a family in the lizards as well. It is also known as a monitor family. The red tagu, as you can tell, has a lot of nice red colors, red paterations. This is an animal from South America. It is not supposed to be in Florida. So if you do see these, we do have black and white tagus, also gold tagus. They are now becoming invasive and are popping up on our lists here in South Florida as animals to kind of keep an eye on. This little girl though, this is a beautiful pet. You can see she's got a nice little belly there, which also has that red hue to it. And what makes her another beautiful reptile is you see the forked tongue. That's what she uses to smell. She'll smell the air for certain prey. She's looking for her insects, small mammals. She'll eat different grubs and fruits and seeds. This animal will pretty much eat anything they can get their hands on. They are beautiful and grow to approximately 3 feet in total length from head to tail. She's about 2 to 2.5 years old, so she's got a couple more years of growing to go. And then once she plateaus, she can survive for another 15 years in captivity. Next on the critter list is our sulcata tortoise, also known as the African spur-thighed tortoise. He's been called that because he has these spurs on the sides of his legs that actually help him to protect himself against predators, but also the main reason is to help him dig. These guys are in Africa. They like to stay nice and cool because it gets very hot in Africa, so they'll dig nice deep burrows using these spur thighs to help them out. And what they do is they'll hang out in there for the most part of the evening, come out early in the morning and graze on grass and different types of vegetation. They will not really eat anything other than different types of grass materials and products that are produced. This is the African sulcata. Here we have another tortoise. This is a little juvenile redfoot tortoise. As you can see, he gets his name because he's got these bright red markings all on his little legs, on each of them, and even on his back legs as well. He's from South America. What he does is he will burrow as well, just like the sulcata will. However, he doesn't like to burrow as deep. He has a shallow burrow, so he can pop out and get many different types of fruits and vegetables and seeds. He's a forager, so he likes to find a lot of things on the ground that are nice and easy for him to eat. You'll notice here, as opposed to turtles, their little legs are more like a stump. They've got nice thick pads and claws to help with the digging, as opposed to webbed feet, which help the turtles swim. So I'll go over in a few moments just the differences between turtles and tortoises. However, this little guy here is a redfoot tortoise. Right, this here is a pink-bellied side-neck turtle. They come from Australia. They are not native to Florida. They are most commonly found in our pet trade. So if you do see one of these, again, it's most likely somebody's pet. It gets its name, as you can tell, from his pink belly. It's got a nice pink belly. They can grow up to about 10 inches long, and the larger that they get, the brighter that belly becomes as they mature. This one's a juvenile. It's got some years to grow into it. They will survive for about 20 to 25 years, eating primarily different types of mollusks, crustaceans, and insects that they find in the water. They do not come out of the water very often, only to dry out their shell and to absorb heat. This here is a pink belly side neck. And you can see here the difference between a tortoise and a turtle is the webbed feet. This animal has webbed toes to help produce power underneath the water, so that way it can propel itself. And you'll notice the difference between a turtle and a tortoise is the shell. Tortoises have the big rounded bodies with stump-like legs that kind of help their land movement. Turtles have streamlined shells to kind of help them glide through the water. So they are built a lot differently than our land tortoises, these aquatic turtles here. this pink-bellied side-neck turtle. And here we have a native Florida species. This is a three-stripe mud turtle. Gets its name because it gets three stripes down his back, and they also like to spend the majority of their time sinking underneath the mud or walking along the bottom of the muddy floors of Florida. So this guy is a beautiful turtle. He's actually almost full grown. They only grow about 3 to 5 inches, believe it or not. My hand, you can see for comparison, he's a very tiny animal. He'll probably only grow about a ½ inch to an inch larger. He also has the beautiful webbed feet that help him propel a little bit faster through the water. And again, still a more streamlined body to help maneuver himself through the thick waters that we have. This is a three-striped mud turtle. All right. So before we go ahead and get into the snakes, I want to just debuff one quick myth about them. Yes, they are scaly just like all the other reptiles we've seen today. However, they are not slimy like many people think. The sliminess is amphibians, our frogs, salamanders. They tend to be the slimy, scaly creatures. Snakes, on the other hand, are quite dry. So what I have before me is a freshly shed snake skin. So what this does is as the snake grows and gets larger, he will go ahead and release the skin from his previous and what is known as shedding his skin. This is the culprit behind that snake shed skin that we just saw. This is an emerald tree boa. He gets his name because of his beautiful emerald coloring that he has, and he's also a boreal. He hangs out in the treetops of rainforests of South America. Again, so that's where he gets his name, tree boa. He's a boa constrictor, so he will use his teeth to grab a hold of his prey, and then he'll use his strong muscular body to go ahead and constrict and strangle his prey before he's able to consume it. Typically, they'll eat rats, small mammals, and birds. However, this guy, being nocturnal, does a lot of his hunting at night. So what animals are out at night? A lot of rats and mammals, but also bats. That is their primary diet down in South America, is bats, and I'll show you why. These guys have what's known as a prehensile tail. It's actually extremely strong. It's sort of like an extra hand that they have, and again, snakes don't have hands, so this comes in very useful, hanging from treetops. Now, none of the other snakes is a good idea to hang them like this, but his tail is so strong and so muscular that he's able to hang down like a vine, strike his prey, wrap it, hold it, and again, eat it all while hanging simply from his prehensile tail. Now, these guys are very dangerous. They have the largest fangs of any non-venomous snake in the world. But again, this is a pet. He is not somebody's found out in the wild, so you won't have to come across this guy out in the wild. Just again, emerald tree boa, beautiful, beautiful creature with great markings. Our next snakes we're going to take a look at today are boa constrictors. So these guys are two of the same species. However, you can see they are differently colored. Now what that means is they have different types of pigments and mutations that they can come in. So this guy actually is lacking melatonin, so that's why you see he's got more of the brown, more of the reds, as opposed to the gray and the blacks that he has here. Now these constrictors, they are found in South America. They grow typically to about 7 feet in total length. Both of the boys that I have here are about 5.5 feet total length, weighing approximately about 12 to 15 pounds. When they get full grown though, they can weigh upwards of 30 to 35 pounds because they just start getting nice and fat. Females, however, they can grow up to 10 feet long and weigh on the upwards of 60 to 70 pounds. These guys are not quite on our invasive species list. However, a few have been found in Florida, of course determined that they were pets. But these are very similar to what you may see down in the Everglades. So this is a boa constrictor. What's in the Everglades is our Burmese pythons. So that is a python, while this is a boa constrictor. A couple of the key differences between the two are where they come from. First off, so boa constrictors typically are from South America and parts of Africa, whereas pythons, they're a lot more spread out. Indonesia, India, Australia, Africa, China. There's a whole bunch of different places that they are. They also, pythons, lay eggs, typically, whereas boas will give live birth to baby snakes. So they can have about 15 to 30 snakes all at one time climbing around on them. But these boa constrictors, they'll also go ahead and use their big mouths to grab their prey, wrap it up, and constrict it before consuming it. Now these are a little bit larger animals, so they do have to eat things such as rats and rabbits, larger mammals, other lizards and snakes even, all the way up to larger birds. And as you can see, he's got a nice thick heavy body, so he's not a boreal, he's more on the ground dwelling type. So his lair will be on the bottom floor of the rainforest. Alright, the last on our little reptile adventure today is going to be a native Florida snake. This is known as an eastern rat snake. More specifically, this is a southwest Florida yellow rat snake. So these are found in specifically this part of the country, found in southern parts of Florida. He can be found in northern parts, but they're primarily found just down here in the Englewood, Charlotte County, Lee County areas. As you can tell, he's got a nice yellow hue to him right there, so that's where he gets his name, the yellow rat snake. He also gets his name because he eats rats, you guessed it. He eats different types of rodents, from the rats to mice that we have around here, including the moles and voles as well. So these guys, again, you may be a little bit afraid seeing him in your driveway or out in your garden, but just do one thing. Let him be, because he's doing a job out there. He's getting rid of all the little pests that you would not like to have in your house. So these guys are very friendly for the most part. However, if you do see one, and again, if you do see one, you have to be 100% certain you know what it is before touching it. Otherwise, just please let it be on its own. They're not a big fan of people, so just let them go, let them do what they want to do, which is usually find food. And if we go ahead and interrupt that too often, they're going to end up being reliant on people, and again, a reliant animal is not a very safe animal. But this guy here, he is indigenous to Florida. I actually ended up finding him only a few days ago in my garage, so that's why he's here today, just for an example. After today, he'll be released back into the wild where he belongs. Again, this is a yellow rat snake, indigenous to the eastern United States. Guys, thank you for joining me here in Charlotte County to enjoy our beautiful animals that we've seen today. And it is a fascinating and weird world of reptiles, and we are definitely surrounded with a bunch of them. We've got alligators, we've got lizards, we've got snakes, you name it, it's around here for us to find. Hopefully you guys enjoy a beautiful Florida sunny day and have a great week.